Hello and welcome to another episode of Unapologetically Rich. I'm your host, Shamina Taylor. Coming off an amazing weekend, I just gave a keynote speech to 500 plus business owners in Orlando, and it was amazing. I love getting on stage. I love communicating the wisdom that has been bestowed upon me to a live audience. It is something I thrive, to do. A lot of people are afraid to speak on stage. For me, I'm just like, give me more, give me a bigger audience, and I'm good to go. I love to talk. I was born to do this. It even says so in my astrological chart, right? Now, what was amazing is when it was time to do the book signing, a lot of people were coming up to me and, lining up to get their book signed. And it was like one after another person saying, I've read your book twice. I've listened to your podcast every day. And so for those of you that are listening, hi, I go to the gym listening to your podcast. I am, doing errands and listening to your podcast. I listen to you all the time. I have listened to your audiobook, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And I love that. It's amazing. I love that people are immersing themselves in the work. I'm going to pause for a second here. Those of you that are on the way to the gym right now listening to me, pull over and leave your girl a review. So I am really generous with my information. I wrote a book that I thought was really amazing and it is turning out great. And I have this podcast and I do YouTube, and there's a lot of great things that I have put out there. All I ask in return is that you guys help me reach 500 is what I want to get to reviews on my podcast on Apple. So whatever you're doing, just pause and just please go leave your girl a review. I have a goal of doing that by my birthday, June 11th of this year. So if you guys could do that, you would really help me out, and it would make me really happy. So all of you that said you were going to leave me a review on, the podcast, you're going to subscribe and leave a review. I'm talking to you right now. And since I've been helping you out, I would love for you to help me out. Also, those of you that said you'd leave me a review on Amazon, please go ahead and do that. You know what? When you're in your feminine and you're asking for help, as I'm doing to you, it's like I'm open to receiving it. I would have never asked for this before. I would have been like, well, whatever, I don't need their help. And now I realize that it's okay. And being in abundance and asking people for help is a good thing. And those of you that actually step up to the plate and do that for me, it makes me feel so good. And I really feel like there's an energetic frequency to that. Like, you help me, I help you. When you're like thinking about somebody and all of a sudden they call you, I feel like when people do things for me like that and I see their name or I see what they're doing, it's like we kind of connect in the quantum field. And so I just want to say thank you to everybody that took the time out to already do that. And those of you that are going to do that. One more thing. We've got a 3-day masterclass coming up. And depending on when you catch this recording or not, it is called the Highest Cash Months Challenge. And it's going to be a little different than the last time that we launched it. This is purely going to be about how you can increase the limit of where you are right now in your business and how you can basically push through and have your highest cash months. And today we're actually going to be talking about, and by the way, you can get signed up for that 3-day challenge in the description section of this podcast. This episode today, what I really want to talk to you about is a couple of things. And there's going to probably be 2-parters. So it's going to be another episode following this. But I always get this question, and I think it's pretty fascinating. How could you make money and have a lot of it and still have money issues? And I think this is like the biggest issue for most people. I think when someone's, I don't like this word, but broke and doesn't have any money, they just think that they have a money problem because they don't have the money. And they think that this is a very, struggling situation because, you might not have the cash in hand. And when people have money, they think, well, I don't have a problem with money. I can spend things. I have money. They don't realize that it's actually sometimes the people with money that have a bigger issue with money than the people who don't have it. Wait, what did you say, Shamina? So people will ask me, how can 8-figure earners have a problem with money? How can certain people, how could they have a problem with money? I don't believe you because they have it. So there's no problem. Money does not fix and solve things the way that people think. Now, let's go with the belief that, and this is where I want you to stay open to this, because if you get this, you'll have a massive shift. And this is something on the 3-day challenge. I'm really going to go into deeper to really understand this, because somebody who's, let me back up. I went to this party in Vegas, and you had to be making at least a minimum of $1 million to go there. And they ask you, you had to fill out a form and whatnot. And it was really amazing being in a room with people that made 7, 8, 9 figures in a room. You saw people, who are successful and they're doing the thing, showing up, top rated podcasts, OGs in the industry, really, really impressive accomplishments in the room. And it was just nice to be with people who are also doing similar to what you're doing. Now, being in that room made me realize that there was still another level to go to, right? Even though we are at a certain income level, there's always more. And I remember talking to one of my friends, Dan. I asked him because he makes a lot of money, and I said, when will it ever be enough? I already knew the answer to this question, but he kind of laughed and he looked at me and he goes, do you really want me to answer that? And I said, yeah, I wanted to get your take. I just wanted to hear what he had to say about it because this is somebody who makes a ton of money. And he's like, it'll never be enough. And that was actually the quote unquote right answer, because anybody who's making a ton of money, it's never going to be enough. But how do you get to a place of, let's say you're making $1 million now to get to 2 million, 5 million, 10 million? What has to change, right? And there's different things that have to change while you're running a business. There's, if you're creating a personal brand, what is the omnipresence of your personal brand? Does it stand out? Do you have a brand that's, recognizable? And also, do you have a business that's running itself in such a way that you're creating active and passive income at the same time and growing and scaling? And you've got an amazing offer and message. Like, do you have those things tapped in? Do you have traffic coming to your business? Having a skill set is one thing, but you need the traffic, you need the clients, you need the patients, you need the people to buy the offer in order for you to scale your business, right? And so if you don't have the traffic coming into your business, then it doesn't matter. You could be so amazing at what you do, but if nobody knows about it, and if you don't have traffic coming in, then the chances of, people finding out about you is an issue. And the second part of that is, even if they come in, can you convert them into your offer? And are they going to, sign up with you, and what makes them sign up with you and not somebody else? So all of these things go into, factors about how you can grow and scale your business. And when I asked him this question about, what's enough, and he's like, it's not an answer. And you ask anybody who's hit a milestone, a big milestone in their business, and they desire more, because that's kind of like what the 1% does. There are people out there that do not have I don't even know if it's called work ethic, but they just really don't have the drive to do whatever it takes to get to the next level. They don't know how to manage their emotions. They don't know how to park themselves and really learn and listen, and they let their emotions trump their behavior, and it gets in their way. I see it all the time, especially with, young people. They let their emotions get in the way, and if they're not emotionally mastered, they'll let something, bother them, and they take things personal. And then what happens is that they start acting like little kids as opposed to powerful people. But I see grown ass adults doing this thing too, right? And this is why I teach emotional mastery so much. And so when I was there and I was talking to other people who have made tons of money, it all came back to one common thread throughout everything. And these people make millions of dollars. There's some that make a lot. I met a guy and he's like, look at, we were talking about Rolexes because I had one, and we got invited to a private birthday party the first day we got there. And it was really nice to be in a villa in the Bellagio. I had never been to one of those rooms that had its own gym, a pool, and a kitchen and bedrooms and you name it in a hotel room. It had a dry sauna in it too. Like, come on. Holy crap. And so the guy gambled a lot. The guy that his birthday was there. And so we were there, and this guy I had met, we were talking about Rolexes, and he's like, oh, they're addicting. And I said, I can see that, and I think he had 10 of them, and that's cool. I celebrate him. And then I met other people that I've known for years in the industry. We've managed to be in the same rooms and go to their birthday parties, etc. Just, really nice guys. And I had a conversation with one of them. He's been in the industry for a long time, and he just sold his company, he had an affiliate company. And he's like, I just want to help people change their lives. At some point, money just is money to some of these people, right? There's going to be a thing where you need to get fulfilled. And fulfillment only happens when you can recognize it. Because if you can't see it, the things, the watches, the cars, the whatever it is, a lot of people are just acquiring those things to feel successful. And it never is enough. So of course you're going to want more than one Rolex. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but you might need 10, not want 10, but need 10. And you might need more things to keep feeling that dopamine hit or that feel of like, this is what success feels like. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. And there are people out there that are making 8 figures, 9 figures, or whatever it is that still don't know what fulfillment looks and feels like. And so I bumped into my buddy and his wife. He's like, I sold it all and I'm doing something different now. And I love it because he's doing something that fulfills him and makes him feel a certain way. If you are making a certain amount of money and you have not found that peace inside of you, you will never feel good about the money the way that you could. And so when I said it's like, it's never about the money, people look at money in a way that it's supposed to solve all of their problems and change everything. And when I said earlier in this podcast, there's some people out there that believe because they have money, they don't have a money issue. And I would tell you right now that majority of the people who have money are the ones with the biggest money issues, because it's not about money. It's the way that they treat money, what they look at money to do for them. If you did not have the money you have now, would you still be the same person that you are? And a lot of people cannot say yes. I know with or without my money, I am who I am. And that's why I feel untouchable and powerful, because it's come to the point in my life that if I was stripped, I'm not saying I would, that even feels misaligned to put out into the universe. But if that happened, whatever, I always feel like it'll be okay because of my relationship now that I have with myself, but also with what I feel money is in my life. I don't have the same dysregulated nervous system when it comes to money. I don't have the same need to show off and prove and say, look how successful I am. I don't have those things anymore. I also know that money is not mine to own. It just comes in and goes out again. It's not like my name is on every printed bill that comes through my bank account. I'm using it and holding it as a tool so that I can go do things in my life. I have exchanged something to receive that, which then will be circulated and into, the economy and into the universe. And then I know that more will come back to me. But imagine if you had money and you feared spending it. And then people will say, well, I don't have a fear of spending it. I can buy this, this, and this. Okay. But I bet you those people that say that is because they're justifying the purchases. Well, I need that. I can justify the Mercedes. I can justify the Rolex. I can justify this. But then I ask them different types of questions. Why didn't you invest in yourself? Like when it comes to buying a program, that can get you somewhere faster. Well, I don't have a money problem. I don't need to do that. It's not about having a money problem. It's about you finding out who you are. And until people get to my friend's point where he realized that he had all the money in the world and still something was missing. That's my story on the yoga mat. If you haven't on my story, until you find that moment where you realize that, wait, there's got to be more, you'll always be chasing that type of success because it will never feel like enough in the way that it could. And this is not talking about how much money you want to make, because there's a difference between chasing money and there's a difference between, I know there's a lot more that I can have and make and do, like be with in my life. People chase money to feel successful. So the guy with 10 Rolexes might be chasing money because he doesn't feel that success from within. And the other guy who said, I don't know, I just want to see how much I can make. It'll never be enough. Could be just like, I want to see how great my potential could be. I'll tell you some signs right now. So people, and I instantly can tell when someone's got a scarcity story and active, even when you have a lot of money. The fear shows up in many different ways. So from a purely financial standpoint, most people who have a great fear that are making a lot of money will pay off their house. If you understand financial investments and understand how to leverage debt and know that your house is an asset that increases in equity, it is also a good place to leverage and pull the money out. That's a good thing. But a lot of people who are in the deep scarcity, and this is not a true and hard fact, will pay off their house. But what if you paid off a $4 million house and your insurance only covers X number of dollars, right? You could have taken that $4 million or $2 million of it, leveraged the rest in a mortgage, and bought 3 or 4 more properties and rented them out, let the properties increase in equity and grow your portfolio. But a lot of the times people who live in scarcity, they worry. What if the money doesn't keep coming? And even though they know the money's coming, they still have the worry around it. They still have this anxiousness about it. They really aren't ones to have power over money. Money has power over them. I remember another one saying that her mom used to cut out the mold of cheese, and so it just gave her so much anxiety around food. Okay, around money, because it was like the scarcity was so rampant in her house growing up that she still had it. I mean, this is a guaranteed thing to pass down. Guaranteed thing to pass down, just like your mother wound. This is a guaranteed thing to pass down. And you'll see people who live in this scarcity mindset will be like, well, how much does it cost? Well, how much is it? Well, I don't know. I don't need it. I actually don't need that. I really don't need that. It's not something I actually need. Meanwhile, they actually do need it. You know, I met so many people this weekend that say, oh, I make money. And I'm like, oh, but I really need to work on that masculine feminine. And I'm like, so why didn't you invest in the program? You know, because they'll think, well, I don't have a money problem. And they don't realize that money is not actually a money problem. It's a deeper relationship you have with yourself, usually with your father, usually with your mother, usually with your past experiences, usually through the scarcity that's there because you haven't healed through all of your traumatic things that have happened in the past. That's why it's put you into this state. I mean, it's all connected. And I know personally that the only time someone actually goes and does something about where they're at is when their back is up against the wall, really. You know, like when they're like, oh, well, you know, I'll move. There's certain types of people. One that will do it when it's like my back is up against the wall. And the other one would be like, I know I can make way more money. Show me how to do it fast. And so the people in between who are too comfortable and are just playing safe, and continuously in that bubble of nothing's wrong, really, I don't have any problems, they will never excel past where they need to go because they're always going to be telling themselves a lie about how things are. And that's kind of like the truth of it all, you know? So I'm looking at people who make money, and I can instantly tell by the way they live, how they are, what their relationship with money is, how they talk about it, how they talk about people in their lives, all of these things. And I'll tell you, how does this show up? So I've mentioned this before, like it could be misaligned team members. It could be offers not converting the way you want. It could be catastrophic things coming in, which you don't want to talk about or bring in, but that would create income leaks inside your business. It could be not having a team that supports you. It could be really working all the time because you think that's the only way to go. It could be relationships that are getting suffered, you know, they're suffering. It could be, having to pay for something way more than what the initial cost was. It could be, you know, unexplained expenses that come up and you're like, what the heck is going on right now? You know, there must be something happening out there that's creating this. And I always go back to what's our frequency, you know, because you can lie to yourself all day long that I don't feel like I have a money issue. Like I'm fine. I asked this group, by the way, this weekend, I'm like, who feels like they have power over money? Out of hundreds of people that are in the room, only one person put their hand up, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, maybe she already did her work around it, but it's not something that people normally would say, like, I've mastered money. You know, if you don't make a decision based upon what it feels like in your heart, but more how much it's going to be and what's in your bank account, then you really haven't tapped into the highest wealth consciousness that you possibly could have. You're still making decisions based upon what you think something costs, how much money you have, if you're going to get taken advantage of, is it worth it? Is this a good investment? What if I lose it? All of those things are still factors that are keeping you playing small, because that mindset, thinking like that, is why your business hasn't expanded to the next level, and why you're not where you want to be, and why you're still stuck at the same income, why you haven't lifted the ceiling on it, because that's a form of playing it safe. And that's what people who, even though they've made a lot of money, could be in this state as well. So you'll see people that buy a diamond ring because that will make sense. They'll do certain things that they can justify because the whole world out there has decided you can have a smart way and a bad way with your money. And that's it. So people have assigned meaning to what things could look like for each individual in this whole world. They have a blanket statement of what's good and what's bad. And because of that, people have decided that they're going to have shame over money. They're going to have fear over it. They're going to worry about it. It's going to be way more than what it possibly could be because they have not mastered money. Because money is not about money. It's a piece of paper. It's whatever you assign meaning to, your safety, your security, the ability to be seen in your power, to fully explode your business, to make the most of money you can make without feeling like you're going to leave your family behind, that you're going to be disowned because you're rich. What will people think about you? All of these things go into playing small, and why most people have an income cap. I mean, I have a system that I put people through to find out where it is. And this is why I started teaching your highest cash months, because I had so many women that came to my world that literally were like, this is the highest amount of money I've ever made. This is the biggest check I've ever had. This is the most my business has ever done. This is the most, because we live in limits, because you've been taught that you should live in a limit and you believed it. Even if you're making money, you're still in the limit. Imagine how much money you're making now. Now double it. Double it again and double it again. That's how much money you could possibly be making, but yet you're playing small and safe and in this pigeonholed area that you're in, because you're not like seeing the subjective ceiling that's really on what you could possibly do. Well, I don't need more. I have enough. Okay, well, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the women who are here to do extraordinary things in the world. And money does, make our lives better. It moves things faster. When I started making money, I could hire people to help me with my book, which has become a bestseller sensation and is changing thousands of lives. Like, why not do that? I'm able to put my kids through college, save up for my daughter and put my son through college. I have saved my house. I've changed things in my life. I've turned every single thing around because I've changed myself, but I've also identified the reasonings that I wasn't making money before, and now how easy it is to have it in my life. And it's not just from running a business, because I talked to a woman on the phone yesterday, or on Zoom, a Zoom call and audio call. And she was like, I have businesses, but her businesses weren't making money. So you could have a business that's profitable or not. So just because you have a business doesn't guarantee you're going to make money. You should have a business that's making a lot of money right now, not just a little bit. But like I've said, we are the blueprint for our life and business. So whatever lens you're looking at through the world is creating the deficit in your life. If you're in your masculine energy, I can guarantee you still have scarcity mindset in there. You are still blocking some of the wealth coming in. You are still doing way too much in your business. You are still not allowing for the overflow, and you have created a ceiling inside your business. And that's really hard for some women to take on, because they're like, I want to stop being masculine. It's not that. You've got to understand that the masculinity is not the problem. It's just it's the symptom of a problem. And it's not something, you can't cure the masculinity. You have to cure the thing that's causing it. And that's what I do. And I help you. And not just does that change your relationship with money, changes your relationship with yourself, with your significant other, the way you raise your children, what type of woman you're showing up, opportunities coming to your life. You start becoming a super attractor of experiences, people, things, everything. And it really bothers me that some women just decide to play small by saying, well, I'm making money, it's fine. Don't you want to be extraordinary? Don't you want more? And when people don't invest in themselves, I'm like, well, obviously this is where you're at. I can't help you anymore. People want my shit for free. Well, guess what? I spent 12 years creating systems and programs and doing the inner work. I give a lot away for free. You're listening to this podcast right now. And I've asked you guys to leave me a review, and you still won't even do that. So if someone doesn't even leave a review and they just listen to you all the time, how would I expect them to ever invest in themselves? Someone said, oh, I saw your free, 48-hour thing or whatever. I'm like, oh, did you buy the programs at the end of it so you can watch it? Oh, no, I didn't do that. Oh, if you're not going to invest in yourself, then why would you think people would buy from you? If you aren't even showing the universe that, hey, I'm willing to do the things that it takes to get there. And this separates people like me from those that are not willing to go to the next level. I see people still 5 years later that I have met online that are still hustling, taking free programs, and they still haven't got any further ahead. Nothing. I'm like, how come you haven't got to the place where your business is thriving? The only denomination here of the problem is them, right? It's them. It's you. Like, why haven't you done it yet? I was not willing to do that. I hired mentors. I wanted it now. I was willing to do whatever it takes. I'm also not somebody to complain about work or to complain about, oh, this is that. Complainers, oh my gosh, they're the worst because they don't see what it takes to get there. They just want the result. Well, you can't just have the result without doing the work. That's the inner work. That's having mentorship. That's doing all the things to excel yourself. I've had women who've made quite a bit of money coming to my world who just couldn't do the work. And you know what? Sometimes you're just not ready for it because your fears are so deep inside of you and your programming is there and it really stops you from it. They'll have like a couple one-hit wonders. They'll have the highest cash month and then they'll go right back to their cycle again. And you know what? I can't change that for them because they've got to want it bad enough. They see me and they're like, wow. I'm like, yeah, but you got to do the work. You can't expect 2 months. It's just, you've got decades. This is a daily thing of you unbecoming that version of yourself that got you in this situation, right? And it's creating a more empowered version of yourself. That's what you have to do. So anyway, I kind of went all over the place in this podcast episode. Just because you have money does not change who you are. It doesn't change your circumstances. Like I said earlier, yes, my life changed as far as I could do things with the money, but I still had to do the inner work or else the money would have come in and it wouldn't have stayed. It would have went right back out again because one of my core wounds is abandonment too. And so it would have come in and gone out. And I have worked on my worthiness like it's my job. So of course I can charge high ticket now. I'm not sitting there with a limited money mindset. I know the value I bring. I know that people can't go read what I teach about in any book out there. What I teach about is not what everybody's talking about. I'm bringing a brand new perspective to the way this stuff is taught and to applying it to money and business. Nobody is doing this like this. And I know there's a value in that and people get massive results from me. So why would I do myself the disservice of not valuing that? Because I won't be attracting people who value it. I'll be attracting people who want free and quick. And those people don't have patience, so they'll never get the results. And people think just because they have information, they've solved the problem. That's actually the worst situation. Information seekers, I call them, never do anything with the information. They might have a shift in consciousness for a minute. It's like the people who attend Tony Robbins' event. They unleash the power within. They're like, go there. They're at the event. They're like, oh my gosh, yeah, walk on fire. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Yeah. You're all pumped up for 4 days. They get home a week later, like, I am the voice. They're in it. They're doing their ice baths. They're doing their breath work. And then week 2, I'm just going to get up and do this thing. Oh, I missed it today. Oh, I missed it the next day. Oh, the next one. And they go right back to who they've been until they go to another Tony Robbins event. It's like people who drink ayahuasca. I met a woman who drank it 86 times. I'm like, girl, you are the problem. You cannot be drinking this stuff 86 times and nothing has changed for you. She was, yes, severely overweight and she was doing this, but her victimness had her drinking that shit 86 times. I couldn't even barely do it once, and I actually laughed and giggled and saw unicorns because I'd done so much inner work at the time. And this was 2017. And I've done even more work since then, but I'd done the core of my work then. I know that you cannot run from your internal frequency in your subconscious. So no matter what people think, if money comes in, you cannot change who you are. And if you look at money in a way that it can be lost, stolen, taken from you, you can be unwise with it, that you are not investing it in a free way and it really scares you and it really flares up all of your issues. You cannot tell me that just because you have money, you feel safe with it and you have control over it and you have power over it. Everybody can make money. I believe everybody can. The basketball players, football players, athletes, musicians, they know how to make money. But if they don't know how to really tap into that frequency of money's always there for me and have that clear vibrational connection to it, it doesn't matter how much you make because it will only matter where it goes. And so I don't know if you guys heard one of my clients, Lena, she's a lawyer. I might have said this on another podcast. She came in and she says, I make money, but it's just not staying the way I want it to. And I haven't cracked this 100K months. Well, Lena hit her 100K, $111,000 cash month and highest money she'd ever made in her business. But guess what? She showed up and was doing the work in her Millionaire Club program and she has the results to speak for it. But She showed up. She found me on YouTube, and then she went and found me in my in-person event. I might have shared it with you. I don't know. I repeat a lot of stories. I don't remember. In Chicago, signed up to be with me, and within 3 months has her investment back. And I want to tell you that you can spend months, years spinning your wheels, hoping for a different result, and just staying satiated and satisfied with where you're at, which is not a wrong thing. But if you desire more, and you know there's more, and you know there's an upgrade in you, and you haven't tapped into it yet, and there's something that I said that resonates with you, you have two choices. You keep just listening to the free content, or two, you do something about it, and you message my team, and you get on a call, and you come join one of our programs. And then you get there faster, because that's how quantum leaps are done. I know you. I know your patterns. I know why you're where you are. I know how you break them. And I have so much certainty around it that it's like one of those things that if I sat you down for like literally 3 minutes in front of me, I can tell you, okay, this is what your problem is. We couldn't solve it in 3 minutes, but this is what your problem is that you don't even know that you have. That's the craziest thing. People's blind spots are called blind spots for a reason. They don't realize that they're living in this clouded vision because they've always done it that way, and they didn't know there was an easier way. And I'm telling you, once you come work in my world, you find an easier way. Hopefully listening to this podcast and reading my book, it opened up some of those blind spots for you, and you can start seeing things in a different way. So don't always chase the money. Work on yourself. Work on the inner you. The money will come. But if you are chasing money and you're looking at money to change everything, it just won't. It won't. And that is 100% guarantee. It cannot fix what is not right within. It just only amplifies where you are at right now. So if there is something that is not aligned and you're making money, it's going to find a way to go back out again. The ups and downs, ups and downs. And like I said, if a woman's inner masculine, that doesn't mean she's masculine and there's something wrong with her. It means she has unresolved stuff that's making her put up her armor and put up that shield and go into her masculine in survival mode. There's a reason. And I know the reason, and I know how to break it. And I'm telling you, when you get free from that, you're like shoulders drop finally. You're not living in that tense mode where your ears and your shoulders are best friends. You're not overworking yourself. You're not putting yourself through the ringer. You're loving yourself in a way that you never have before. You're recognizing your strengths. You're showing yourself that there's an easier way. You're getting better sleep. You're losing weight. You're just not in survival mode. Your body's not in fight or flight. You're in this calmness. You never worry about money. You're in a place where it's okay. It's just, you got to be willing to want to change where you are, or at least be willing to be open to seeing, okay, maybe I'm not there yet, but I know something's missing. And I know I could be to the next level. And I know deep inside of me, this is not the highest level I can get to. I know there's something that's keep holding me back, and I just don't know what it is. And I'm telling you, once you find it, that fulfillment, it's the most amazing and beautiful thing. That's all I got to tell you. All right, this thing's going on for a long time. This wasn't supposed to be such a long episode. I guess I had a lot to say. So don't forget to go leave your girl a review. Hopefully I shared with you my reasonings why I want to hit 500 by June. Come join our Quantum Woman group on Facebook. Also, we've got freebies to download, our daily money moves. Take that and start doing it. If you're not doing these daily money moves every day, you are doing yourself a disservice. Also, come join our 3-day masterclass, the highest cash months. I'm going to show you how to lift that ceiling up so that you can start 10xing, 20xing, 30x, 100xing your income, whatever that might be. You might not realize that you are the one that's keeping yourself stuck into that income hole, or the cap that you're in right now. And also, if you have not got my book, Unlocking the Quantum Woman, this is going to be a game changer. Get the physical book. There's a workbook already in it. Do not buy the workbook that's on Amazon that's listed there. It's not mine unless it has my name as an author on it. And go check out my YouTube. It'll complement the podcast. It'll complement the book, and you'll get lots of things to binge on. Come follow me at Shamina Taylor at Instagram, and just send me a message saying hi and where you found me from. If it was from the podcast or the YouTube or wherever all the things were. All right. Stay tuned for another episode. Bye for now.